Sorry this video was a bit late. My internet connection has been extremely inconsistent, but it's fine now, and this video took a lot of effort to make, so please watch till the end. Thank you.
Just like different people can have different disorders, different alters can have different disorders. We also have deaf alters, alters that are mute, and have alters that express.
What you just watched was a little compilation Bean Bun put together of people on TikTok faking dissociative identity disorder, otherwise known as DID. By the way, Bean Bun's channel will be linked in the description if you want to check them out. DID is a very serious disorder, and what's unfortunate is that faking it on TikTok has become a bit of a trend. Because of the severity of the topic, I will be issuing a trigger warning for people with mental disorders who are sensitive about them. If you're not sure you can handle watching your disorder being used for clout, then I implore you to click off the video. And with that out of the way, strap in everyone, because this is going to be a long-ass video. So, TikTok, as per usual, has some fucked up trend that a bunch of 13-year-olds are following blindly for some clout. This is pretty standard if I'm being honest. As of writing this script, said 13-year-olds were swimming over a guy who ran down a mother and her child in an illegal street race. So I never really expect the best of humanity from TikTok. If this was just, a handful of people, it would be fine. It would just phase out eventually and nobody would remember it. But this seems to be happening an awful lot on TikTok, which is why I'm making a video about it. On top of faking serious disorders, they're also advocating for self-diagnosis, calling you ableist when you call them out, and misrepresenting several disorders such as DID, ADHD, OCD, and autism. None of which am I okay with. They make these disorders seem like personality quirks that will make you more interesting if you have them, when in reality these disorders can interrupt your daily life in massive ways. They're not hobbies that you can pick up when you want and put down when you're tired of them. They are mental disorders that are constantly influencing your life, decisions, and sometimes they can make existence extremely difficult. I feel like this trend exists due to the media portrayal of said disorders. If someone in a movie or TV show has ADHD, well, they're gonna be extremely hyperactive all the time. You'll rarely, if ever, see the hyperfixation aspect of ADHD or the periods of time when you have absolutely no energy or motivation. You just want to lay in bed all day. If someone has autism, then they're portrayed as a non-functioning member of society instead of a normal person who has their own personal struggles. Honestly, this portrayal right here pisses me off more than anything. So let's look at some videos I put together from TikTok that show this dumbass trend, and hopefully we'll show you the reason I made this video, because a lot of these videos are extremely insulting. Let's begin.
Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Amitria. I am a member of the system. I have been in the headspace for quite some time, but keeping a low profile because I wanted to have an objective opinion, an objective view, so to speak, of the situation so that I could adequately diagnose us as having DID. And yes, a lot of people have been saying see a doctor. Literally living with a doctor in the headspace, all of us. I am able to evaluate them one-on-one, and yes, we all have DID. A doctor has diagnosed us, so you can stop with all of that go see a doctor nonsense, because there's a doctor present at all times. You don't need to worry. Excuse my appearance. I'm just having a chill day lounging around, but I did study for 12 years. Yes, I don't believe that we should invalidate my credentials solely because I exist mostly in the headspace. I am still a professional, a medical professional, so take that as you will. Have a great day, everybody.
The video here is obviously bullshit, and I'm going to tell you why. This person is clearly addressing someone who called them out and creates another character that somehow has a 4 to 6 year degree and is an expert in the very topic that this person is being called out on. If you can't tell, this person is just trying to cover their ass for faking a serious and rare disorder. Let's move on to the next video.
Diamonds looking invisible. If you see the homies with the guap, with the knots in the rows, that's how I know you niggas really broke, with no goals, and it shows. The money blue.
I really don't see how you tripping and almost falling over is attributed to ADHD. I don't think ADHD will impair your motor function to where you trip over your own feet. I think you just made a mistake, and you're gonna blame it on something instead of, you know, actually taking responsibility. Which, believe it or not, is a common trend with a lot of these videos. So I have actual clinically diagnosed ADHD, and I didn't have any sort of reaction while listening to it. And mind you, I edit all of my own videos, and while editing, I go over the video several times, meaning I had to listen to this song several times, and each time I had no involuntary reaction whatsoever. Also, with most of the people who fake having alters, they're just playing a character that they enjoy, and they enjoy it, which, you know, I got no problem with. It's fun to play another character, it's fun to pretend you're somebody else. But then they're claiming that they have a mental disorder to hide the fact that they're just a theater kid with no theater.
So quite a few people sent me this today. People who are neurodiverse were encouraged to listen to this audio and react naturally, but I wanted to use it as a teaching moment. On the right, I'm reacting to the video in the way that I've been taught to mask, behaving in a way that makes the people around me comfortable, behaving in a way that won't get me in trouble. The video on the left is what I really want to do when I listen to this, and that's that on masking.
I have had tics before, and they typically don't look this severe. Usually it's just flexing of muscles, or I might blink more often or something. But nothing to this degree, where I look like I'm having a goddamn seizure. You can clearly tell they're faking, because the tics like this don't really manifest in people with ADHD, or at least not that I know of.
Drink iced coffee, panic attack. Drink iced coffee, panic attack. Drink iced coffee, panic attack. Drink ice.
Another example of people faking tics. Isn't it amazing that their tics lined up perfectly with the song? On a more clinical note, coffee doesn't make people with ADHD more hyper or make them tic. If anything, coffee helps us calm down a little bit. If one of your friends has ADHD, you might see him drink coffee late at night to help him sleep. Also, sorry for showing that much cringe on my channel, but believe me, it gets worse. This hurts my soul, because someone might watch this and actually think this is what people with DID are like, and have a complete and utter disdain for them. This is the danger of faking and misrepresenting a mental disorder. I had to take the audio out of that one, and I'm not sorry for that, since the song they used was absolute mental torture, and I want to spare you people from that absolute hell. Anyway, this, along with the next few videos, are promoting self-diagnosis. If you don't know why self-diagnosis is bad, let me explain. Self-diagnosis is both impractical and ineffective, because to be diagnosed with something, you need to take out all preconceptions you may have and look at yourself in an objective manner, which means your biases cannot get in the way. This is damn near impossible for everyone, so by having a doctor look at you, who has no preconceptions about you, you can get a more accurate diagnosis. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I again removed the audio from this one since it's absolute torture and adds nothing to the video. Also, to answer this TikTok, I am against self-diagnosis, and I have been clinically diagnosed for ADHD. And getting a diagnosis is not just a questionnaire, and like I said before, you're not qualified to diagnose yourself, because 1, you can't look at yourself in an objective light, and 2, you're not a fucking doctor. You did not go to medical school for 4 to 6 years and get a degree. Just a warning for this next video, because it's probably the cringiest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And I didn't know if I would survive watching it or just die of cringe. So, here's your warning.
I self-diagnosed with ASD, but you shouldn't do that. Like, what about me? What about you? Well, I have a real diagnosis, and self-diagnosing just really harms us. Okay, let me make this really clear. The doctors you seem to love and hold dear, we have more info than they learn in school, so shit don't need to be so damn clinical. Also, it can be pretty expensive, not to mention sexist and classist and racist. Instead of policing self-DXs, front the fee, put your money where your mouth is. Yo, diagnosis is a privilege. I'm not taking anything from anybody, period. We all getting the same amount of nothing, so let's come together like Voltron Ultra.
So, this degenerate right here, because I don't know what the fuck to call them other than that, is bad-mouthing doctors, saying that they know more than the doctors, the people who are certified to diagnose and who have spent years of their life working and studying to be in the profession. And on top of that, the greatest crime of all is your fucking presentation. Your rhymes ain't shit, and your suit looks like something you pulled off a clown who OD'd in an alleyway. I'm actually glad your presentation is absolute ass, because it means nobody's gonna listen to the blatant lies you spit out of that hole in your face. These last few videos portray something that pisses me off to no end, and that I absolutely loathe with a passion. People infantilizing disorders such as ADHD and autism. If you don't know what I mean by that, just take a look at this video again. Still confused? How about you watch this one? So, if you still don't know what I mean, since infantilize is a very big word, it means that these degenerates are making it seem as if people with ADHD, DID, autism, etc. are not capable of being functioning adults and are instead just like a 5-year-old who needs to rely on someone mature. It pisses me off because if I tell someone I have ADHD, they're going to treat me like I don't know how to handle myself, and like I'm not mature enough to be a functional member of society. Now, this last video infuriates me for the very reason I just explained.
This is for everyone who stims. Here's my favorite tactile stim. Here's my favorite visual stim. My favorite olfactory stim. My favorite auditory stim. Here's a stim I only do when I'm alone. Here's a stim I only do when I'm in a sensory overload or uncomfortable. Here's some of my favorite stim toys. Here's my most used stim. And this is me just vibing.
Now, before I move on to the next section of the video, I would just like to go on a tiny little bit of a tangent on why I hate the LED lights people put in the room. I don't care if you put these LED lights in your computer case, make it look cool, or even putting it on your desk, because I'll admit it looks pretty cool. But putting it all over your room just seems like a bit much. I might be in the minority here, but I actually like having natural light in my room. You know, I open the window because I like the fact that natural light is coming into my room. It makes it more comfortable. I don't know. Maybe I am in the minority here since I like that better than colored LEDs. Also, when I see that, I'm just going to automatically assume certain things about you. Anyway, that's my tangent over. We can move on now. This next part is posts from all over the goddamn place of people faking multiple disorders, and I figure we should start strong. This shit right here makes me lose a little faith in humanity. Actually, scratch that. It makes me lose a lot of faith in humanity. Nobody in their right mind would do something like this, and worst of all, they're making it seem like Adolphus Hitler, the man who brought upon a massive genocide of Jews, is an innocent, harmless alter, and on top of that, the grammar in this post is just atrocious. Just fucking look at this shit. Ugh. This post is absolute bullshit, because to have an infinite number of alters, you would have to have an infinite headspace, which no human does. So I believe this is a gross oversimplification, but it's the only way I can actually think about this. So imagine your brain is a computer. Computers have limits such as processing power, storage space, and think of your personality as the operating system, which takes up some of your storage space. To have infinite personalities would mean that you have infinite storage space in your brain, which is impossible, because the human brain can only hold up to a petabyte, or 1 million gigabytes of data. Not a small number, but we're talking about infinity here. So petabyte is nowhere near enough. Thank you for listening again to my TED Talk. This person is using ADHD as an excuse for being a horrible person and cheating on their significant other. I don't know who needs to hear this, but mental disorders are not an excuse for you to be a piece of shit. These last few posts are just bad-mouthing doctors and advocating self-diagnosis. What pisses me off, though, is that this post says that if you get diagnosed with autism from a licensed professional, you are ableist. Which just blows my fucking mind how you come to that conclusion. It just seems like everyone now wants to play the victim. So before I end this video, I want to leave a little advice for you on how you can tell if someone is faking a disorder. If someone looks younger than 30 and they claim to have DID, then you know they're just full of shit, since alters don't become distinct until after the age of 30. So no 13-year-old is running around with multiple distinct personalities in their head. If someone is claiming that they love their OCD, then you know they're lying, since from what I've heard and seen, people with OCD would give anything not to have it. If someone says openly that they have autism the moment they meet you, they most likely don't have autism, since the people who do typically don't want others to know about it unless it's absolutely necessary. And finally, if someone claims to have ADHD and they don't even try to act normal, try to mask these impulsive thoughts and whatnot, then just assume that they are lying. Because people who are clinically diagnosed have either medication or therapy to help them cope with normal life. My final message here is, if you see someone fake a mental illness or disorder, then don't be afraid to call them out on their shit. Just make sure you have proof to back yourself up, and make sure you have a valid argument. I just hope that these people who do fake disorders realize that their social medias are public, and that if someone they know finds it, there's going to be actual consequences. And that's all I can really hope for in the end. Wow, this video was pretty long, so thank you if you stuck around to the end. Hi, this is the end of the video. If you did stick around, please leave a like and share this with someone, because people need to know that this is not okay. Also, I feel like I missed some talking points despite the video being decently long, so there might be a sequel in the future or a follow-up. Anyway, that's it for now. Bye. Oh, hey, you're still around. Okay. I guess you saw that little message back there. So, here are the two videos with the audio, because I guess you hate yourself, and you want to listen to this, and don't say I didn't warn you.
Hey, do we have a problem? See this as a Minecraft, and my niggas robbed them. Actually, I'm a moderator. Nigga, I am not dumb. Plus, I'm black, so...
Was it worth it?